welcome everyone to the channel. Now we've got a little bit of a catch-up of a 2-day festival I just recently fished here at Weston Pools. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit different. Instead of sitting on my box, I'm literally, because I drew close to one another on the lakes, I'm literally, as you can see behind me, I'm actually stood on Jack's pool now. So I'm going to spin you around, show you where I fished, what I went through on the day, how I went about it. Then I'm going to go over to 6 on Stretton, which I do the second day, and do exactly the same on there. So I fished the 2-day Winter Guru Festival here at Weston Pools. Now I did it last year and the weather was horrific. Now last year I used 23 jacks and 6 jacks. Now the first day I caught really well dobbing on a waggler, but the second day I didn't catch anything really. I caught £8 last 20 minutes just because it was snow and ice and it was really difficult to catch. But this year it's actually really funny. It's a Saturday Sunday event, so it's actually quite good for me. I don't have to book any time off work. I can literally get on the bank, have 2 nice days fishing, nice and local, sell out as well. I think there was 56 on it as well, so it's a good set of lads. Have a good laugh and a crack. So first of all, like I said before, the first peg I actually drew was this peg, 23 on jacks. Now I'm not gonna lie, at the start of when I drew it, I wasn't pleased. Now this is just because I was a bit ratty, I'll be honest with the truth, and I just fancied a comfortable day and I just felt I'd be really up against it on this peg. But it just goes to show, when you're fishing, you never know. So obviously I've got to my peg here. Now you do feel like you're a little bit penned in because that there is peg free. You can fish off to the edge of the island there, but you have got a little bit of room there because peg 20 is the next peg. So you see the aerator, the next peg's there. So ideally I can fish to that spinner. And the only thing about this peg is it's one of the deepest pegs probably on the complex on this site. Not obviously not excluding the clay pit, but it's like around this area here, it's about 7 foot deep. It's like a big bowl, deep bowl. Now ideally a lot of the fish live on the islands. There's a lot of willows that hang in. The fish swim around the islands, like 17, 16, 14 area. That's a nice little area you can see over there. Obviously 3, 4, 5, that's a nice little area as well. So you're not too far away. So last year I got away with it because it's a bit cheeky, but it is in my peg. See the rope there, see the willow tree? I chucked the waggler there last year and I dobbed some chub and I caught a couple of carp and stuff and I got my way to £50. So I thought, right, well, I don't feel like it's going to be that sort of day for me on this peg, just because it was a little bit warm. It was like 14 degrees. It was a lot warmer than last year, and I just felt that I'd have to catch some feeding fish. Now actually I think Catch More Media were here on the Thursday or the Friday, one of the 2 days. So I give Chris a ring and he said that area had actually caught some silverfish. So I'm thinking, right, well, I feel like peg 3 is a really good peg on the lake. So if I can just try and get the most out of my pegs, say push a second, that's the minimum that you'd have wanted really, and then it gives you a chance going into the second day. So I've I've set up, literally I've plumbed up this here. There's like a lily pad here, it looks amazing, but like from there where I'm pointing now, it's like 7 foot deep, and then to the edge of the lilies where the margin starts, it's like 2.5 foot, 3 foot deep. So it's quite a sharp come up. Now don't feel like any fish sit there. I've been on it a couple of times now, never really caught any there. There used to be a big lily pad there, that used to be quite good, but I don't think that's the sort of area you want to be trying to dob them. Now it's quite clear, so your edge line sort of like, it's a quite steep shelf here. You used to catch some barbel around here, but it's quite clear. So if you think about it, I'm like eliminating my peg from there. I'm not really going to catch anything there. So literally I kept it dead simple. I plumbed up 14.5 meters to that spinner. It was the same depth at 16 in front of me, so I just, if I needed to, and then I've set a waggler up, dead simple. Now I've had a dead easy match really. I've loose fed some bait at the start, probably put like 30 or 40 maggots in a pot just to get some bait at the bottom. Loose fed because I thought I'd be catching some silverfish. Flicked a little waggler around, see if I could dob anything. I think I caught an hide and a skimmer, something like that, dobbed that. So after 40 minutes I'm thinking, right, I need to have a drop on my feeding line. I've dropped on my feeding line, which is on the aerator, and I've actually hooked the fish. It's come off, and I thought, well, that was an F1 or something like that. Come back with the scale. And then I've gone in again and caught 2 F1s, got snapped by a carp. So I changed my elastic, had 9 holler, and I think it was like a 18s SFL 011, so I changed to a 16s SFL 011, 10 hollow through a short kit. Next fish, £4 carp. So I had a nice little start there. I probably got to like 10 or 15 pound, and I thought, right, well, if I can just tick along for the next few hours just fishing on that area there, literally I thought I can get away with it. But for the next 90 minutes I've caught probably an hide and a rudd on the waggler, and I've caught next to nothing. Now I could see a lot of hide coming down the lake. They were like staying away from the anglers there. They were like in line with the tree line there. Peg 3 was catching a few dobbing towards the island and stuff, so I thought, right, I need to get on with it really. I wasn't catching anything. So what I've done then, I think the lake changed a lot. It went like a lull period, and then the last 2.5 hours it's sort of like kicked on. I think they've got used to the sort of day. They've started to have a little feed, so that last 2.5 hours have been really good. I had a couple of carp on the waggler, just a little piece of disc of bread or 2 maggots. I had 2 there for probably like 12-13 pound. Dropped on the bottom. Now when I dropped on the bottom, I didn't get any silverfish on the bottom, but I just get like an odd carp, like 5 to 6 pound now, or 4 to 5, 6 pounds, stuff like that. So it's not something to be moaned at. So it caught me out really, because I know there's a few carp in this area, but I didn't feel like I was going to catch them when I was loose feeding maggots. I'd probably, if I was going to target them, I'd probably try and target them a few grains of corn, just sit and be patient, but I was catching them that way. And then something really weird happened. If you look, the hide, like, they're not there in a minute obviously, but they sort of like drifted just on the other side of the rope, and I thought, I'm gonna have a go shallow. So I caught literally for like 30 minutes of that last spell, I caught probably 20 odd hide shallow, it probably like 14 inch deep. Such weird, they just come down, caught something, and then like last 25 minutes I thought, right, I've got to sit on the bottom now, I've got to try and catch some carp. And I think I caught like 3 carp and 1 F1 in that time, so I pulled it back in the end. Now Chris on peg 3, it's a really weird match he had. He caught really well dobbing but nothing feeding. It's like the fish just drifted off the island to feed. Now I don't think he comes much, so maybe that caught him out, but he had 71 pound. Luckily my fish went 76 pound, and I went over in my net as well by 2 pounds, so I ended up with 76 pound section win. I feel like I got away with it, and I was a bit lucky that day. I shouldn't have really moaned about my peg, if I'm truly honest, because I feel like it's learnt me something now. You never know what's going to happen, and it's just one of them things where you should always be optimistic. You might be able to catch a few fish and not moan about it, but I did. But luckily I moaned way to a section win, so I've got 1 point. It fished really well that day as well. Chris Lane was on peg 14, walked past it in a minute. He had 106 pound. Sean Yale was second in the match on Bell 22, he had 83, and I was actually ended up third in the match, so a nice little start. Got the section win, nice little pickup, and just that section win you needed on day 1. So what I'm going to do now, so that was the peg. If you ever draw it, always have a whinge, but yeah, 23, it looks really, really nice, but if you feel in the match, you just feel a bit cut off. But obviously there's a few carp here. Be nice and patient catching them on that spinner. It was about 6 foot deep. Just use a 4x12 F1 maggot, and then for shallow just use a 4x8 F1 shallow. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to just walk down and have a little look. Now I should probably show you probably the most informed peg at the minute here at Weston. I haven't drawn it for a while, but I normally draw it quite a lot. Is this pool here, Stretton, peg 14. So this is where it's been really good at the minute. Now on the second day I actually drew a peg. I draw actually quite a lot as well on these festival sort of things. I drew 6 here. So you're down this arm, and my section was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 29. Now 29's been a really good area at the minute, and I feel like this area of the lake has been quite good, but on the day it turned out a lot of the fish were more to like 12, 14 area. So down this arm, I've been down there a lot before, and I actually find that when the big fish are in this bowl, I'm not going to say there's not any fish down the arm, because there's loads of them. There's a lot of smaller fish like stocky carp, eyed, crucians, and that's what you got to fish for. I've been caught out in the past before thinking, oh, this isn't right, we've not caught enough fish, we're not catching big ones, as where you don't need to. Just need to put fish in the net, and I had probably one of them best day's fishing I had of the weekend really. Nice and steady ticking over, loads of fish. But here we are, here's the peg here, 14 stretton. If anyone doesn't know, you need to know. Now 14 stretton, lovely, nice little spinner there. They've just been catching shallow about 14-16 metres in the middle of the lake. That's some nice big F1s, but it's been a really consistent area at the minute, this part of the lake. But that's the peg that won the match. I think Nick Robson, old Mr. Shades, he's got some good sunglasses. He literally caught £109 the second day, so he got the biggest weight of the week, so well done, pal. Now second day I'm wandering down this end of the neck of the woods. They got the open match on bells there. Cole Mercer, the Friday Slayer. Roll up, roll up. Get robbed by Cole on a Friday. Don't go on a Friday, folks, you get beat by Cole every time. He's got one on there. Right, so that's peg 8. Peg 6, 7 there. So I actually filmed a bit of footage on this. Now, so this is a peg 6. You can actually reach across there quite comfortable with a long kit and a long fore-in. It's about 16 metres than brambles there, or the reed line. And then what you find is a lot of carp live here. It's a bit wider here, so you can't get your rig without flicking a rig. So there's a little bit of a safe haven for it, and as you can see, it's a bit of a bramble. Just looks really, really carpy. Now, I've kept it dead simple on this. I know Christian was on this the week before. He just caught up and down shallow at 30 metres, so I've literally just set up 30 metres up and down. I've set up 30 metres up and down, a couple of shallow rigs, one about 3 foot, one that I can change from 2.5 to 2 foot, and just set a dobbing rig up like 2 foot deep. Now it's probably ranges from like 3.5 foot to 4.5 foot over there, so just set it 2 foot deep. I did have a flick, and the standard carp, what happened is I caught a carp first chuck on it, ran me straight through the brambles and snapped my rig. So retimed my rig, put my hook length back on, flicked it just off the reeds where I didn't think I'd get one, and I foul hooked something. I think it was a big F1, it wasn't the carp. That come off as well, so I've literally just got my head down now on this line here. Now what I'd be able to do is put a little bit of footage over the top for you, because I filmed a little bit of footage of me catching on the bottom, catching a few shallow, and just shows you how simple it can be. Just fishing one line, making sure you get everything right. And when there's a few feeding fish there, you don't want to be scatting around. When you be able to catch a few fish, I just literally fished in line with that gap there, 30 metres, it just plumbed up quite nice. Now just flicking maggots in all the time, as you can see on my little clip, and I actually ended up with, I think it was like £65. That would have been, I probably had 38 F1s for like £44, and the rest of eyed, so and eyed and crucians. So I had a really, really busy day. That won the section, luckily. Niall down there, he was on peg 2, and luckily, I know it sounds bad, he dobbed a few carp, but he didn't really catch feeding late on, which is lucky for me. He went in front of me, but obviously because I'm on a feeding fish peg, I've been able to catch him back up. So ended up with 2 points, ended up second in the festival behind Chris, who had a mega day. He drew 3 on jacks, and he only just missed out on by winning the match both days, so well done, pal. Third was Kerry Kirkwood. He done really well off his draws, to be honest. He had a nice day on canal, and then he drew 14 weir, which he probably wouldn't have fancied, but he's caught some fish up that edge, so he's come third in the festival. I think Nick Robinson, he's pulled it back there. He's had a brilliant, he's come 4th in the festival, so a nice couple of days on the bank. Caught a load of fish on this peg, load of fish on the Jack's pool, and it's just a really good festival, close to home, loads of bites. You can have a laugh in the clubhouse. Now, just want to say thanks to Deb for running it. I know what it's like, it's a bit of a nightmare running around, but it's been really enjoyable, and I can't wait for the next few festivals. I'm going to do a few more here at Weston, I think, in the over the next year or so. Get them on YouTube, get them filmed, because I feel like it's really interesting fishing. It's a nice place to come, you can have a laugh with your mates, nothing's too serious. There's a little bit of money to be won if you go in the few optional pools, so it's a good little payout if you want to get stuck into that, or if you just want to get stuck into it. First time festival fishing, there's a load of people you can ask about how to get on, and do your best. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.